is Brooklyn Savvy. Hi, I'm Tony Williams, and welcome to Brooklyn Savvy. Well, we're here with Steve Witt. Now, Steve Witt is no stranger to Brooklyn Savvy. You were on our show back October 2009, one of our first people. So we got to give you credit for coming back on Brooklyn Savvy. And at that time, viewers, Steve had written this book, American Moses, and I was looking at it through the lens of race. I read the book totally this go round. Race is an element of the book, but there's a whole lot more to this story. So anyway, let's talk about American Moses with this new lens.
Okay.
And so why don't you tell for our viewers, just give us a quick run through so that people can kind of be up to speed on what it is we're going to be talking about.
American Moses is a novel about a secular Jewish man from the Midwest and his...
No resemblance to you, of course.
No resemblance to me. and his Jamaican American wife, and they lead a group of Jews from New York to Las Vegas.
Because a synagogue burns down,
Because
right?
a synagogue burned down.
In the South.
No, in New Jersey, in New York, upstate New York, right.
And that town, by the way, also had the last lynching of a black man in the North.
My question was, why did the synagogue, what was your motive? Let's start here. What was your motivation for writing this book?
My motivation was, part of it was a catharsis because I was going through a tough time with my marriage. And when I got the idea for the book, I learned that Moses' wife was a black woman.
A Cushite?
Cushite in the
Right.
Bible.
A black woman. Had to do that, viewers. Anyway.
It's all right. So anyway, my marriage was breaking apart, so I ran away to Las Vegas. And I'm a journalist. I got a job in Vegas, and then I tried to make up with my wife, and I drove back. And when I drove back, I got this idea about allegory, a fiction book about a guy that's, a little bit troubled. And him and his wife and their kids, they go from New York to Las Vegas. And so far as the synagogue burning down, being from Chicago, I grew up in a place called Skokie.
Yeah, I know Skokie.
Oh, yeah.
And in the 70s, Nazis marched through there.
Yes, right.
And I've had some Jewish people say, how can you do that? There's no such thing as a Jewish American diaspora. And I felt, when you grow up in the Midwest as a Jew, it's different than a New York City Jew.
Absolutely, right.
You face a little bit, it's a different kind of anti-Semitism. And you don't have the backing that you have in New York City.
But you said that there was some true, in at least what I wrote on the back cover, that there are some pieces of it that are based on some true things that happened.
I've always thought you write what you know.
Not good for
Yeah, I got it.
Right.
We're gonna come on back to Zippy now.
Sorry,
It's time to go
Sorry
into
about
Zippy.
that.
Now, Zippy, that's the wife.
Jamaican
My
wife.
question is, victim of incest. Why? Why was that important in your writing of this book?
Right.
When I first fell in love with my wife, who I'm still married, we're separated, but we're still married. When she told me early in the relationship that she was physically and sexually abused,
I see.
I thought,
All right.
well, I love you. We'll get through this. I think Zippy's the major character in the book.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Although I don't think she's a protagonist. I think Southie is the man,
Right.
but Zippy is the most interesting
They're all
character.
damaged.
Yeah.
They're all damaged.
And
They're
dysfunctional,
all damaged.
right.
Well, I think, everybody's dysfunctional.
Right. And we're all damaged, all right? If that's the case.
Are they very real?
There you go.
As real
But
people.
you can
Suffering.
say with, like in stories and other stories, there are people that are damaged that are attracted to one another because they complement one another. I'm thinking of Sophie's Choice, or those couples that
so
come.
damaged,
but,
right,
but,
right.
but like people who have challenges and needs from other people attract each other, and we all do.
Yeah.
But
I think
with
though,
Zippy,
right.
what she needed.
What
Right.
did
Well, she needed to learn to trust. I thought it was really good. I liked that. I thought it was very brave of you. But keep going.
Southie just seemed like such a loser to me. I don't know. Like the husband, like he.
Well, he calls himself a bottom scrubber. right?
Yeah, I was kind of like, that was weird.
Stephen, what did you mean by that? I mean,
The bottom scrubber?
yeah, no, I mean, why? I mean,
I think that's hard for me to answer.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I think the reader. I would hope that the reader likes Southie or has some simpatico, but he's not your traditional American male. Go get him in the world
Right.
kind of guy. He's a bit of an adventurer. He's a little bit lost. He's not sure about his own
He's also a
culture.
little arrogant.
No, I liked Southie. Now, see, I saw Southie
I
different.
see it
I saw him
differently.
really
Yeah.
different. I didn't see him as arrogant. I saw him as being in love with a very complex woman.
He loved his
got
wife.
himself,
I got
got
that.
himself
I got
into
that.
a
I got that.
situation
Yeah.
that he did not have the resources to get out of. He loved his daughter. The wife couldn't understand that the father's natural
daughter.
love for a
Right,
daughter.
right.
Because she had been a victim of incest, she
From
couldn't
her own
connect.
father.
Right.
Right,
She couldn't
right.
connect with that. And I saw that as a real flaw in that relationship because Southie was not able to get Zippy the help that she needed to be
understand.
able to walk
Right.
through
No,
this
I
situation.
agree with you.
If anything,
I tell you,
that's where
I
I
liked
see
it.
Southie
Yeah.
as really failing, failing the woman that he really loved because he was unable or incapable of even understanding what she needed. I
I think that's
Southie
strong.
understood.
But you're saying
strong
he failed.
statement, though.
What do you mean he failed?
think she failed
There you
him.
go.
Well,
She
I think it goes both ways, but I think when
Right.
we love people and when we marry them, we want to support them.
Yes.
And sometimes we just take on, well, I do, speaking of myself, take on the responsibility of supporting in understanding the needs of that person.
Right.
I'm the closest to him. And I want to support him. If there's
I don't
something
think
that I
Southie
could do to
didn't want
support,
to support Zippy. I don't
Didn't
think
know
he had
how.
the resources.
He had the resources.
Didn't know
right.
how.
Well, that's
He
what
didn't
she's
have-
saying.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what she's saying.
He was
did she
extremely
want-
well intended. I think whoever Southie is, he really loved his wife.
Yes. But did
I
Zippy
felt that.
really
I
still
want
think
to
he
be
was kind
helped,
of a loser,
Stephen?
but yeah.
Did she?
Well, excuse me, but what's a loser?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Are
Like
you a
a pair-
winner? I mean,
I would
Right.
like to think so, but I guess a peripatetic kind of, like if something pissed him off, he quits. If he just, that whole kind of, I'm going to do this next. I mean, there's, we talk about life plans. We talk
But isn't
about
that like a
these-
dreamer?
I do understand that he is a little aimless. He is a drifter. He's
Yeah.
an adventurer. So, by
But I think there are
American,
ways to be adventurers.
but he
that are
does love
different.
his wife.
I
And-
totally
Yeah,
agree
that
with
comes
that.
across
That comes
clearly.
across
I
clearly.
think Salvi is looking for the promised land.
Yes.
And it's just
Well, that's the whole
interesting-
allegory,
That's the whole-
right?
It's
Yeah.
interesting that he's guiding people to a promised land that
Right.
it's not even where he really wants to be or
Right.
wants to go.
Well, I love that device.
Right,
I love
that I
the
do.
whole-
Yeah,
that
and I didn't
device
mean
is
to be.
kind
I
of-
love that.
I associate with Southie a
Let
little.
me ask
bit.
you a
yeah.
question
Well,
about
you know.
Zippy, though, because for the longest, during the book, I found myself not liking Zippy one bit, right? However, there was this moment where she kind of turned, and that's when you had this whole episode with the childbirth.
Right.
What was that
what was
about?
that?
I mean, that kind of came out of, what? She's delivering a baby now? I mean, I was trying to figure out, why did you put that in there? Were you trying to humanize her for us? Were you,
I
or was it-
softened her a little.
Oh, is that what that
But
was?
and also, I think that even people that are totally damaged are capable of extreme good at times.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want it
And-
okay.
Well,
Yes.
that's true,
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's so true.
And Zippy, she is extremely damaged, but she loves her daughter in her own way.
Yes,
And-
she
and
does. She did. That was the painful part of it. Because she was pushing the daughter away at the same time. She, from what I could see, it could be up to viewers, I'm telling him about his book. But what I got was, here was a woman who wanted to really protect her daughter. She wanted to make sure that her daughter had a particular image so that men would not exploit her as she had been exploited, but she went way too far on
But
that.
was that kind of flawed though, in a way, like overprotection? You know, like assuming, making these assumptions because that had been her experience. You know, that all men are bad or people are going to take advantage. Do you think she went overboard on that, or?
You know, I think kind of my job is to write it, and there's like a subconscious part,
just
and it's kind of
flows.
up to the
Yeah.
reader.
To take whatever they
To
want
interpret
from
Although
it,
I
right?
did want her to be real,
Yes.
and part of the writing was a catharsis because there is an autobiographical aspect.
Right.
And so your research was really easy because you were living part of it.
Right, and also before I came to New York, I spent several years hitchhiking and traveling around.
So you were something else.
New York as an itinerant.
But we're gonna have you hold that thought because we're gonna have to take a break and we will be right back.